We move on to the Bangalore plant visit. So our friend Vikas visited the plant and he shared his points with us. So we'll just cover a few of the most important ones here. Maybe we can, if anyone has more questions related to it, Vikas is there on the call. We'll request Vikas to answer that. But we'll cover the most important points. And Vikas, you are free to add on if you think I miss on some of the important points. So, as we were discussing earlier, in terms of the analogy of CDMO players, like these auto ancillary players are also like CDMO players, right? So you see the same thing playing out in terms of their capex plans as well. So their capex is also mostly front loaded, and benefits are expected to come later on. So even if you read the last two con calls transcript, or if you would have attended the con calls live, you would have seen that the management has been saying that in the last 3 years, they have whatever capex they have done, the benefits of those capex are yet to realize, right? And why that happen is, so how do you get orders from OEMs in case of a new product, or when the OEMs is going to increase the capacity? The OEM is going to, so you being a sole supplier to the OEM, you have to first of all create the capacity for him, right? Until unless you create the capacity, how will you give the OEM the confidence that you can make it? Now, when you create the capacity, it is very clear that all your expenses or investment will be front loaded. Now, the benefits will come only when your capacity becomes 100% utilized, right? That cannot happen overnight or maybe in the first year or second year. And there will be times when you will have some idle capacity in your facility. But that is the price you pay for being a sole supplier, right? So that is one thing which we should understand about Sansera. The second is good focus on quality. So they have their quality head, and in the plant visit, they mentioned about one person in their quality team being trained by multinational companies, and this guy will reject a part irrespective of whether the quality head has approved that part or not. So even if the quality head has approved a part, this guy who is trained, he has the power to reject that part based on his understanding and his training. So that is the kind of focus they give on quality. Until unless, in fact, in the past, they made some product, and their CMD, he himself, Mr. Sekhar Vasan, who is the promoter of the company, he himself said that no, this is not of our quality. He himself refused to ship those kind of products. So that says a lot about the management's vigor or focus on quality. Then another thing which we believe is a very important trait in any business or management is the ability to say no or walk away. So it says two things. One, it talks about your own values and systems. If any opportunity doesn't fall within your values or systems, you will say no. Or it also says about you are in such kind of a advantageous position to say no. Like we say, beggars can't be choosers. If you are in such a state that you are in dire need of orders, you will not be able to say no. But because Sansera Engineering has been able to build a sustainable, profitable business model around their business, they are in a position to say no, because they know that even if they lose this particular order by saying no, it is not going to harm them, or it is not going to put them into jeopardy, right? So in case of Maruti, what happened is they clearly said that you are not giving us the rates which we require to maintain our margins. So we are not going to produce this particular product. So the Maruti management at one point of time was very unhappy with the kind of this. But later they understood the problem and they revised the rate because they understood that uh, they have to make sure that Sansera is having a sustainable uh, business. If Sansera is not being able to make money, be profitable, it will not be able to supply Maruti the important components, the critical components for a long period of time. So Maruti agreed. Similarly, with case of Ford, Ford wanted them to go into forging, but they were very clear that no, we want to focus only on the precision side of the business. So they said no to Ford at that point of time. So these little things might not catch the attention of many people, but in our understanding, these things matter a lot, and it says a lot about uh, the genes of the people who are running the show, right? So these things do carry a lot of weight in our understanding. The CEO has been with the company for almost 30 years. This again says a lot about the culture of the company, the whole atmosphere. International expansion plans. Now, uh, again, during that plant visit, the management showed clear, uh, what do I say, how to put it? The the management clearly mentioned it that they are they want to expand globally really fast, and they don't want uh, to wait for things to happen. So in one of the statement, the CEO says that if we don't put our plant in USA today, we'll be back by 6 years. So we don't want that kind of a situation. So we are trying our best to get that plant set up as soon as possible. So Sweden plant is already in place. And in case of USA also, they want to put that because see, having a plant, even though you might say that having a plant in USA will not have the same cost advantage which you have here. But uh, you need to have plants in USA, you need to have plant in your customer's country because the closer you are to the customer, the more you will have more interaction with them, they will have more control over you, and they will be able to guide you even better as to what you can do for them, right? And it also reduces the whole, as Avadut also mentioned, that it also helps in the working capital cycle of the OEMs whom you are serving, right?
So, Ankit, one more point to add regarding that was see what COVID has done is it has disrupted supply chains, right? So,
Yes.
container shortages, containers are stuck in one port, not available in another port, right? So, there are a lot of supply chain disruptions. So,
Mhm.
one of the things they said was that if we have a presence in US, where you have a USA OEMs, and they specifically named Tesla. So they said
Hmm.
that getting 15% of the order is what we can get here sitting in Bangalore, right? But if we set up a plant in USA and we have a USA face there, then it is much easier to get a larger share of the business from Tesla, right? So you
Correct.
reduce the dependence also. And he's saying things like, so now the customer is worried. So whether the parts are sitting in the port here or are they sitting somewhere in the sea, so that supply chain has there is that has been disrupted. So so more and more and we are hearing this commentary from different companies also saying that the globalization what we knew where you could manufacture in China and sell in US, so that just in time kind of supply chain is now becoming more like just in case, right? So you want to have multiple countries. You don't want to be stuck. You don't want to depend only on India or only on China. You want to have multiple sourcing partners. and preferably the supply chain should be simple with very few dependencies. So right now we know that a lot of businesses are dependent on simply on container shortage, right? So you want to minimize such dependencies, and therefore people want more and more presence in their own country, in USA. So that is going to be the new sort of phase of globalization.
Right.
And there is
Thanks.
one more advantage, Ankit, is that they said that if we have a US presence, we can also raise low cost funds in US.
Right, 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 right,
Use
right,
that.
right.
And
Yes.
Ankit, one more point which is there in their own presentation, quarterly presentation, is their share of is their market share, worldwide market share. So I think in
Yes.
2016 it was 0.5%, in 2021 it is 3% or something. So you can see that
Right,
they are gaining market share worldwide for some of those
right,
parts.
right, 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 right. Thanks, Vikas. Thank you so much. So, so, and with the interaction with the management, a few things which which kept which kept on coming back and make you feel these things about the company is these are the few things which are very clear. They are very much engineering focused, strong capability. They have fungible capacity in their plants. Wherein, what do we mean by fungible? We have already covered, but just repeating for making it more clear is that when you have a fungible capacity, you can, in the same capacity, you can use it for, say, two-wheelers or four-wheelers or for commercial vehicles. The same capacity can be used based on the demand requirement. Own customized CNC, which is not for sale. Sole supplier for several parts to several OEMs. That is a big, big, big advantage. Very few auto ancillaries are able to do that. Employee friendly. So one example of employee friendliness was this, that they thought of a VRS, voluntary retirement scheme, and then uh, the 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 wives of these employees who were going to being offered VRS, they said to the management that if they receive this lump sum amount, they will probably uh,
Your husbands will spend it away.
husbands will spend it at other things. So it's better that you keep them at work so that they get a regular salary and they be more prudent. So management was very considerate of that point, and they continued it that way, right? And another feeling which you get by looking at their books, by looking at their the way they interact with investors and analysts is they look like honest promoters. They have clean books and they have good history.